I feel like I'm gonna sneeze, I'm sorry. Shoo! Okay, I probably should have written all these down. Tank tops. Tank top patterns. Hi, welcome to the Pine Cottage. My name is Nicole. Today we're going to talk about 10-ish summer tank top patterns that I want to go over, and I want to choose a couple of them to use up some of the yarn that I have in my stash. So I hope you will join me and we can check out some warm weather tops, even though spring is really struggling to get here this year. Please excuse my voice, I have a cold. But I did not want to skip this week because I really want to get started. I want to cast on one of these tank tops and I wanted to share with you. So in my stash, I have this little basket here. I have had for several years now this Cascade Pima cotton yarn. I have to weigh it. I don't even know how much it weighs. I think they are 50-gram skeins. So I bought this yarn with the intention of knitting a tank top in the past, and it is the Strawberry Top by Iris H. I think she went by Iris Makes at one point. She has the Strawberry Top and the Strawberry Top Light. I probably should have written all these down. I still may knit that top. I'm not sure because it does have little yarn overs that create like little eyelets, and I'm worried about not wearing something underneath. So I don't know if I will feel comfortable grabbing this, to wear frequently, and I want to make sure that I get use out of it. I do want to know what it feels like to wear cotton. This is 100% cotton, and usually cotton is kind of heavy, but also we buy cotton t-shirts and, other garments from the stores all the time in the warm months. So I feel like it should work in theory, but I don't have any knitted garments in cotton. So I want to knit something in this. I don't know if it's going to be the Strawberry Top. It calls for DK weight yarn, which this is, and for my size, I would need how much? 120 grams. So I don't even know if I ordered enough yarn. I ordered this in the beginning of my knitting journey when I don't really think I knew what I was doing when I was ordering yarn. I think this is only 100 grams of yarn. I feel like these are 50-gram skeins. So if I need 120, that's not quite enough. So I was looking at other tank top patterns where I could possibly use this yarn. So let's see what else we can find. This still is a contender, even though I'm not sure about the eyelets, and also I'm not sure about the low scoop neck. I don't know how flattering that would be. The next tank top pattern that I want to look at is the 9 p.m. tank. And this is by Tiffany Ty. This tank is very classic, very sleek. It calls for fingering weight yarn. I think it's very customizable to the individual who's knitting it. And it takes 1 skein of fingering weight yarn. So even though I will probably use sock yarn for this pattern, I think that wool is cooling and that it wicks away sweat or moisture. And this is a tank top. So I think before, we get into the heat of summer, I think this is something that I could wear as a layering piece or even on its own. I am not sure what size I'm going to knit because it is so customizable. I think I'm going to measure the largest part of my bust torso area and go from there. This does have sort of a spaghetti strap construction. I don't know how bra friendly it is, but I have I have to knit it. I just really like it. It's definitely my style. So the yarn that I chose for this pattern is this yarn in the colorway Terracotta. And this is by Ashen Bumble Yarns. And I just love this color. I feel like it's just a nice earthy tone. I feel like it suits my coloring, and especially when I have a tan. So this is going to be the 9 p.m. tank. I am going to knit this for sure. The third option that I have for yarn that's in my stash is, well, first of all, I have 5 skeins of this Knit Picks Comfy yarn, which is a cotton acrylic blend. And these are 50-gram skeins and they're 100 yards each. So it's almost 500 grams. One of them wasn't a full skein. And this is in the colorway Parchment. I was looking through some of these patterns to see which one I wanted to knit for this. There are several that I really like. The first one is the Tolsta tank, which you guys have probably seen everywhere, and this is by Rebecca Clow from Crayabea Knits. And this is more of a shell, so it's not a tank like with the small spaghetti straps. It's bra friendly. It has a wider strap on the shoulder. It calls for DK weight. That Knit Picks yarn is worsted weight, but I feel like I could still give it a go. She is wonderful in that she gives many options for her patterns. You can knit this in a thinner strap. She gives you the option to do a V-neck. You can do a deep V in the back. So I really like that she gives you so many options with her tanks or with her patterns. I definitely think that I want to knit this pattern. I don't know if I will have enough yarn or if it's the right yarn for this pattern. I would knit probably a size 2 for this pattern, maybe a size 3. So, how much yarn would I need?
I think 515 meters, 561 yards of yarn, 50k weight, 4 pi, which is what that is even more, 630.
I don't think I'd quite have enough yarn for this tank. It is something that I want to knit in the future, but maybe just not to get rid of this part of my stash. Another option is the Margo top, and this is a very pretty tank. It also has some eyelet details, which again, I think they're eyelets. Hold on, maybe they're not. It might be something else, some other kind of texture. Oh, it's texture, so I don't know that it's eyelets. And it's also like a shell construction. It's a boat neck. I am not crazy about boat necks, so I feel like if I knit a boat neck tank, it needs to be on the lighter side. So this calls for DK weight. This yarn is worsted weight. I think if I'm gonna do a boat neck, I wanna do it in like a fingering weight, just because it's so high up on my neck, and I know in the warmer months I get like claustrophobic and it's so warm that I don't think that I will like that. This is a beautiful pattern, but I don't think it is for me for summertime. Another pattern that I am looking at is the Camisole number 6, and this is by My Favorite Things Knitwear. This has been in my favorites on Ravelry for a long time, and I just have not bit the bullet to knit it. I even purchased the pattern a long time ago. I just haven't knitted it. It does call for a worsted weight yarn. Check. That's what that is. It is a beautiful tank with thin straps. It is a V-neck construction, I think both front and back, and it has this wide ribbing detail, which I think is really beautiful. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough yarn for this. I would be knitting the size medium, which I'd be cutting it really, really close as far as enough yarn goes. I'd be playing some yarn chicken. The pro is this is commercial yarn, so I probably could order more of this yarn if I needed it, and the colorway would probably be very similar, and you wouldn't be able to tell that it's not the same dye lot. But I instituted a no yarn buy policy on myself, so I don't know that I really want to have to order more yarn to finish a project. Does that count if I have to order more yarn for a project, even though I said no buy, to make sure that I use what I already have? Like, I feel like if I didn't buy what I needed to finish the project, this yarn would sit in my dresser for a very long time. This is my conundrum. I'm not sure what I'm going to do yet, but this tank is definitely in the running for this yarn that I have. Another tank is the seagrass tank, and this is by Samantha Guerin. This has a beautiful detail along the armholes, and it is another wider strapped like shell. It is a crew neck. I love it. It reminds me a little bit of the Felix pullover in the design that it has. And the design goes all the way around the armholes and down the sides of the body. And I just think that's really beautiful. I think this is a pattern that I will knit regardless of whether or not I knit it this time for this yarn, because it has a really classic look to it, and it's something that I can layer under things in the fall and the winter. This calls for fingering weight yarn, so I possibly could use some sock yarn for it. I would be needing, how much? I would be knitting a size 2 or 3. I would need 2 skeins of yarn. So I don't know if I have 2 matching skeins of fingering weight yarn in my sock stash. I would have to look. If I do, then I definitely will be knitting this because it's just really beautiful. But I am not going to purchase new yarn just to knit it. So we'll see what I have in my stash. I don't think I have 2 matching. The next tank that I want to look at is the Camisole number 9 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And this just looks like a classic sporty tank that you would buy in the store. It just looks like a classic tank top that you would find in the store. It almost has like a racerback quality to it. I don't know if I really want to knit this because I have so many of these kind of tanks that I have purchased from the store, and I don't know that I want to waste my yarn on something that I already have in my wardrobe. But I wanted to include it in here because it does look like it is a fairly simple construction, and it is a classic piece for your wardrobe. If you don't have anything like this, it might be something that you want to knit. It does call for fingering weight yarn. It's in sizes XL through 4XL, so it is size inclusive, which I didn't talk about with the other patterns, I'm sorry. I would knit like the size medium, and I would need like 150 grams of yarn, so like a skein and a half. Again, I don't know that I have matching skeins of fingering weight yarn. The next tank that I want to talk about is the Cloud Top by Petite Knit. I love Petite Knit patterns. I feel like they are so easy to read and to get through, and I'm wearing a Petite Knit sweater right now. This is the No Frills sweater by Petite Knit, and they're just a joy to knit because you don't have to think all that hard and you can get through it without much struggling, and then you have a beautiful finished product at the end. So this is her Cloud Top, which is another one of those shell type tanks. It is a crew neck. It does have some, I don't know if it's I-cord around the neckline and the armholes, and like a finished bottom. And it looks like a fairly simple knit. It does call for DK weight yarn. I think this is something that might be a little bit heavy for summer. This is more like a spring fall top, I think, maybe, for me, not sure. Yeah, it just seems like if you're gonna use wool, I feel like this is a lot of coverage. I do like that it's a crew neck versus a boat neck though, so I probably would knit this one before I would knit that other one. Which one was that? The Margo top. Just because of that, because I enjoy a crew neck more. The next tank I want to talk about is the Tip Top tank, and this is by Emily Boldon, I hope I'm saying that right. This looks like it is pretty customizable in that the length could be adjusted to your preference. It is a V-neck both in the front and the back. It is a free pattern on Ravelry. It has a split hem, and it just looks a little bit more casual. It calls for sport weight yarn. It's a possibility because this is what I have is worsted weight, and because I can modify the length, I probably could just knit away until I'm out of yarn and see how far I get. So this is a contender for sure. I would knit the size 4. How much yarn would I need? It's in meters, so I don't know what that is in yards. So I'd have to do a little mathing to figure that out. Or I could just play some yarn chicken and just knit away until I get to the bottom. I'm not sure about it. I don't know. I'm not sure about the split hem. I'm not a huge fan of split hems. I like something a little bit more classic and refined. So I'm not sure if I will choose that one. But the simplicity of it, I was attracted to. Another tank is the Sabai top, and this is by Suzanne Moulier. I think that's how you say her name. And this is beautiful. This is another one that I've had in my favorites in Ravelry for a long time. There's two options where you could do like a ribbing along the boat neck and the hem, or you can just keep it simple and have it unfinished on the top and the hem. And I think for this yarn, I would choose to go unfinished because it keeps it a little less refined and light and airy because it's a worsted weight yarn. I feel like that would be too heavy, again, up top for me because it's a boat neck. If I chose this one, I think I would choose the unfinished option. This calls for DK weight yarn, and I would be knitting the size medium, which I would need 250 grams of yarn. I don't know if I'd have enough for this. Not sure. I have about 250 grams, so I could potentially knit this one. So I'll tell you what I've narrowed it down to. I have two more patterns I want to show you. The next one is the Streamline tank. This is by Alexandra Tavel, and this is really cute. I feel like this is a little bit more casual, and it has a nice like detail along the like edges and the front and the hem, which I think is very cute. It also has a split hem, which I don't know. I don't enjoy the split hem. It calls for a DK weight yarn. I would knit the size medium. I don't know how much yarn I would need. It doesn't really say on the pattern. The minimum would be 464, and that's for the smallest size. So I don't think I'd have enough for that one. So I don't think I'm gonna knit that one. Anyway, it's just one that I thought was cute, but I don't like it as much as a couple of the other ones. The last one that I want to show you is not a tank. It is a bralette, the framework bralette by Jessie Made Designs. And this is one that I am thinking about for this cotton yarn because I definitely will have enough to make a bralette, and I can just continue the ribbing down until I'm out of yarn and potentially make it into a tank. I don't know if this is something that I would wear like out in public or if it's just something I would wear at home. I definitely don't know if I would wear it on here to show you guys. So I don't know if I'm going to choose this. Potentially I may, just because I don't know if I have enough yarn for anything else. So for this yarn, for this cotton Cascade Pima cotton yarn, I am thinking between this framework bralette and the Sabai top that has the unfinished edges. I don't think I'll have enough of this for that, but it's between those two. The Knit Picks worsted weight yarn, I think I'm definitely going to choose the Camisole number 6 by My Favorite Things Knitwear. And I'm just going to go as long as I can, and if I run out of yarn, I will just order more yarn to finish the project because I really have liked this pattern for a long time. I've already purchased the pattern, so I feel like that makes the most sense to knit what I like. So I think that's what I'm going to do for this one. And then I'm going to use this skein of sock yarn for the 9 p.m. tank. So there are 3 tanks that I'm going to be working on for summer, and I will be casting them on one of them on soon. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do first. But I just wanted to share those patterns with you guys because I think that with the weather warming up, sometimes we don't want to work on sweaters, even though we could get some done and then have them ready for the fall when it rolls around. But sometimes it's so warm where we live that it's not comfortable to knit heavy sweaters or blankets or those kinds of things when it's so warm outside. So these are just some options that you could choose for your summertime knitting. I hope that you found this helpful. Let me know what you think of those patterns, and if you have any suggestions of patterns that I could use for what's left here in my stash, let me know. I will be back next week. There's a lot of projects going on around here. My little seedlings are growing, and we just have some exciting things going on. Easter is coming. Next week is Holy Week, so we'll be getting ready for Easter, and I'll bring you along for some day in the life stuff. I hope you're doing well, and I will see you next week. Bye.